Topic Thunder, it's Topic Thunder. Just acknowledging knowledge with no scholarships. It's Topic Thunder, it's Topic Thunder. Breaking everything down, tech to politics. It's Topic Thunder, it's Topic Thunder. We don't tell you what you want, we just give you what you need. It's Topic Thunder, it's Topic Thunder. News, brews, and views from these Chi-Town streets. Topic Thunder.
It was so good. You could hear it twice, and you should hear it twice. That was my good friend Bijan, the Biz, and the of the Shiesty, doing the intro for Topic Thunder, which you have safely landed upon the USS Rapapa. That's not easy, folks. There's landing on an aircraft or a ship such as is not an easy feat. So kudos to you. And if you're showing up on the show, you signed a waiver. Actually, let's be very frank about this. You met with our legal team. You signed multiple waivers, and then you were allowed access into the world's most dangerous chat show, the Thunderdome. Everybody, we got VIPs showing up. We've got
everybody. We got all kinds of all stars.
A trumpet thunder. You son of a bitch!
Boo.
Don't boo.
Boo trumpet thunder.
Vote.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, early voting. Yeah, I was just at the grocery store just before we went on the air, and I saw that the early voting line wasn't as long as I expected, because there was an early voting line by my work, which was quite long for the last 2 days.
Interesting.
And then the one right here by my house, not so much. So I said, you know what, tomorrow, because I couldn't do it, I didn't have time to stand in line tonight to do it.
Okay.
So tomorrow I will probably go and just go ahead and knock out my voting and get that done and taken care of. But it was interesting to see. I did kind of stop and take inventory of who was standing in line, right, and what those people looked like. And it was eclectic. Young people, old people, middle-aged folks, men, women, different races. It was pretty across the board. It wasn't like, okay, I know who the majority of these people are voting. Now, don't get me wrong. I know who the majority of these people are voting for.
Do you?
Oh, yes. Remember, I told you, I live in one of the highest percentage Trump counties in the country. So I still believe, and just talking, I do believe that there are a number of people that are just going to vote for him because he's the Republican candidate, and they are sticking with the party. They may. I know people personally that have told me that they know Trump isn't the right. Same thing with Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is in a very heated battle here in Texas.
And that debate, he got
Colin Allred is no joke.
Colin
Allred is no joke at all. And I had a friend of mine, very, very affluent friend of mine, say that he understands that Harris and Allred are probably the quote unquote better options for the majority. But for the business owners of the world, it doesn't. It doesn't. Oh, your mic just flipped. But I could hear the difference. But he's still probably likely to vote for particularly Ted Cruz. He's still. I think there's still an opportunity where he might vote for Harris for president, but. He couldn't bring himself to vote for Allred, even though he knew Allred was the better candidate, because he didn't the game of, well, we can't give up that seat to a Democrat, and because
it's masochism is what that is. You are flogging yourself because you just can't seem to give up the idea of it's called partisanship, but you can't not root for the other team for that one moment. Like, I don't like the Dodgers one bit. Ben, you and I sat in an OBT apartment in an October evening and were devastated by what the Cubs suffered against the Dodgers. I'm no fan of the Dodgers.
Yeah, fuck them guys.
Right? But if there were good guys and bad guys, I would be clearly saying, oh, yeah, the Yankees. I'm rooting for the Yankees. root for the Dodgers, but that's a different story.
Right,
This idea that you can't switch teams, and the other concept, then mindset, that I know that this political party is not going to serve my community or do anything to benefit the public at large.
Mm-hmm. But I'm still going to vote for him because...
still going to vote for him. But why?
Yeah,
Really?
I don't know, man. It's hard. We're getting off track. We haven't even got into drinks yet, and here we are getting into the thick of things.
Well, I mean, all these things are cyclical and tied in and symbiotic, so we're just going to flow right into it because we can't have a proper discussion about these things without some sort of libations, some sort of grease between the wheels, as you say. Ben, I had the privilege and honor of creating T-shirts to celebrate the upcoming Radiologic Technologist Week. I picked them up today in Buffalo Grove. We were talking about that. That's kind of out by where your kind of neighborhood, right?
Somewhat of my old stomping grounds, yeah.
Right.
The northwest suburbs, let's say.
I'm a southwest suburbs guy, so that was a new thing for me, right? But nothing I hadn't previously experienced. And I walked into a Woodman's, and I heard about the legendary Woodman's grocery stores, and wow.
Yeah,
Good
that's not
for
something
you.
we were talking about. I have not had the experience of being in a Woodman's. Woodman's came around just after. Yeah, my mom grew up in Buffalo Grove.
All right, right on. This was I've
never been in a Woodman's. I'm a Jewel Osco guy. That was my grocery store, the Jewels.
The Jewels. There was a Dominic's.
Yeah, because we always said a Dominic's. We had an Eagle.
We had
Eagle Foods.
Of course, shout out to the Aldi's.
Right? Aldi's still kicks ass. They still contend.
Oh yeah, because they were into the quality product before that became chic. They were just like, here's a quality product at a low price. Shh.
Right.
All we ask is that you pay 25 cents per cart.
And yeah, just so that you'll return the cart.
That was it.
Yeah, no, their brand, Aldi brand food is top notch. It's not like great value. It's better. It's definitely better.
Worth their
but
time,
yeah, Woodman's is great. And so I imagine that is leading us to what you are imbibing on.
Well, of course, I was like, they had a gas station, they had a big grocery store and a pharmacy, and it was like a Meijer or a Walmart on steroids. So they had a liquor section. So I strolled through, and I found the Half Nelson. And I've never heard of Buffalo Creek Brewery before. Uh-huh. So this
cool
is
can though.
Oh, absolutely! They nailed the artwork, right?
Yeah. By the way, it angers me that there's an Aldi in Germany and not one in Lubbock, Texas. That is one of the very few things that we do not have. Although we are getting our Portillos.
Sure. Yeah, man.
I know it's not maybe the same quality, but for someone who hasn't had it consistently in over a decade, I'll take what I can get.
No, and I didn't mean
that combo is still going to. It may not be as good, but it will be better than anything I've had here.
Look, to be very honest with you and frank with you, I didn't mean to be Ben Jordan on that particular topic.
Just coming in and shit all over
it. But truly, for the folks that really had Portillos, and notice it's still it's still delicious, but it's not.
It's not the same. I'm willing to accept that.
Look, and when you sell to a hedge fund, and they go, well, how can we take this brand national? One of those things they're going to look at are cost of supplies, food, all those things, right? And let's just be frank. They're going to go with the cheaper option.
Ben, but
I'll
be frank for a moment. Yeah.
The highest cheap end stuff, right? Okay, so it's not the cheapest of the cheap. It's the highest of the cheap. But they're still going to make their profit taking it national. Look, man, I loved walking into our Portillo's, getting me a beef, dipped, baptized. I'm a baptized kind of guy. Like, dipped at a fucking sandwich, the whole thing into that vat of beautiful au jus.
Yes, I want that. Yeah, with the hot jardiniere. I can't
Give me
wait.
the hot jardiniere, and then I'm a cheese fries guy to go with that. So give me the cheese fries,
Yes.
right? And then give me a Coca-Cola, and then leave me alone.
For someone who is actively dieting and not able to eat anything close to Portillo's at the moment, I am both excited and nervous about when it gets here, because I feel like there's a good chance that I will eat it every day. Because not only is it coming to Lubbock, it is literally, in the words of Rob Lowe from Parks and Recreation,
Yes.
it is literally going to be down the road from where I work.
That
That's
trouble.
dangerous. That is very dangerous, girl.
Trouble.
So I'm
Sorry.
gonna have to. I'm gonna have to really have to contain myself. But back to the lecture at hand. Half Nelson.
Which is a double dry hopped American wheat,
Wheat.
as it runs its course through my palate. I'm going to take another sip.
Redheaded stepchild looks interesting. That can at least look interesting in the name.
They always do. Okay. If Brooks Bolts, that's a 3.
Okay.
I'd go 2.5 to 3 if I had to. If somebody
Interesting. So not on the better side, on the lower side.
It's a good beer. It's not something that I would go, oh, you got a half Nelson. Right?
No, yeah, you're not.
Maybe
gonna
the
do that.
full Nelson, but I haven't had that yet. But still, like it's a good beer. But like, gosh, yeah, like we'll shade towards the
It's
2.5.
probably
cent.
lovely and tasty. Yeah, if you hate it, it means that probably all those of us that hate the kind of beer that you like will probably like it, because the
Well-
scales seem to be opposite.
You know, Ben, I fashioned myself as some kind of social scientist. So one of the persons in the world's most dangerous chat zone, the Thunderdome,
Is literally in the
happens
other room.
Literally, just
Literally.
a door away. Literally a door away. So I will welcome Gigi's opinion to come in and taste this for herself and let me know if that, like, if I'm the bad guy here, right? Oh, she just busted into the room with gusto and drama. Like, she
By the way,
literally.
Ryan Hansen mentions that Hulk Hogan's All-American beer is available at Woodman's, and he was at the Woodman's, I believe, like in Lakemore.
Wait.
Oh, see,
You like
thumbs
it?
up.
Yeah.
You literally like this?
I bet I'd like it then too.
Son of a bitch. No, this is not the Hulk Hogan beer.
But it is.
This is the full. That's a half Nelson.
Ben, you would like it. It's very lovely and refreshing.
I don't think so.
See,
Ben,
there we
but
go. All right, I'm in on
I'll
it.
fight you on this. Okay, fine.
But since we're
I-
talking about Hulk Hogan real quick, he was at the Woodman's,
Yes.
right? And one of our mutual friends, Mike Seva, old Havoc, went to meet Hulk Hogan.
That was at the
Woodman's.
Jewels. That was in Homer Glen.
Yes. And what shocked me is that Hulk Hogan is shorter than him.
Well, I'm sure there's some spine compression after all the years.
I just don't remember. I remember, Mike was a big guy, but I just don't remember him being Hulk Hogan size. And standing next to Hulk Hogan in that picture, it was shocking to me. I was like,
maybe he was.
is it a Hulk Hogan impersonator that they're sending out to do Hulk Hogan impersonation?
So, what did you think? Honestly, what are we listing?
I thought Hulk Hogan was
at?
like 6'4".
I was thinking 6'4", 6'5", right?
Yeah.
I'm 6'1" on a good day,
Right?
and Havoc
I mean, you
was
have,
a little bit taller than me, and by comparison, Billy Whack is like a couple more, 2 inches taller. That, like, I have to kind of look up a little bit.
right?
But that's like, I mean, let's be frank here. Hulk Hogan was never the actual weight he was listed at, and never the actual height he was listed
Are
at.
you gonna? The next thing you're gonna tell me is that the fucking Easter Bunny is not real.
I'll also tell you that Trump is not the most healthy presidential candidate of all time.
Speaking of which,
But, hey, we've got stuff to talk about, and let's...
he lost 7 inches from spinal surgeries and leg drops.
That's it. I mean...
See, you looked it up when you watched the documentary. He's 6'7". There's no way Sava is that big.
No, 6'7" is like... I've been in an elevator with Scott Hall, who had a handful of it was Amstel Lights in his Amstel Light bottles in his hand. He probably had a 6-pack in his hands.
Yeah, and he was a big dude. I've been around him too.
That was 6'7".
Yes. Kevin Nash is a legitimate near 7 foot tall. He's a huge human being, and Hulk Hogan is every bit as big as those dudes.
No,
It just the picture was deceiving. Maybe I don't.
Maybe, but again, as things get old, osteoporosis sets in. Your bones ain't so strong anymore, especially if you've abused much substances. Hey, okay, let's cut all the silliness out of the show right now and just discuss our good friend Joe, who is a member of the world's most dangerous chat zone, affected heavily by the hurricanes that have struck the southeastern portion of the United States, and could use a couple of bucks. So if you can help out, it is appreciated. Every dollar actually matters when it comes to these types of supplies and survival things. Everything from batteries to tampons to cans of food. That's the level of survival that they're working on at that point. And Joe's literally hunting. And there he is. Like, right, yeah, I'm trying to sell your situation.
Like Beetlejuice. Like that's the second time we started talking about him, and like Beetlejuice, he appears. But yes, Joe.
So
we love you and we want to take care of you.
If you could donate a couple of dollars or more to the cause, it would be much appreciated. There it is. There is the GoFundMe. It is. Don't honestly.
The least of your worries should be watching our
Topic Thunder, right? But hey, that just goes to show the level of dedication.
Indeed.
To the level of the Thunderdome. Hey, let's move on, Ben. Let's talk about some dicks.
Okay. Is Courtney with us? Because she's gonna hate this if she does.
No, is she? Like, I just want
to
talk about a couple of dicks.
This was bizarre, dude. This was super fucking bizarre.
And a string and a long line of what the fuck are you talking about?
It is
moments
constant. It is constant with him. For everything that we talked about Joe Biden, Brooks, and everyone bitched about Joe Biden, rightfully so. We made fun of Joe Biden.
Covered extensively here.
Yes, and we called it out and said what it was when we saw it for what it was. To not equally acknowledge that Donald Trump is a babbling, incoherent, senile old man at this point is just putting blinders on and just what we were talking about earlier. It doesn't matter. If you're that far down the rabbit hole that you can look at that man and understand that he is clearly not all there mentally, but go, well, it's better than a Democrat, then you know what? I don't know what to tell you.
To be able to
I don't know what to do with those people.
Acknowledge that this is not even the same guy from 4 years ago who arguably could handle his shit at this point, right? Mm-hmm. But well, if you're listening to the show, you're watching the show, you already know how we feel about this. It should not be a surprise to you. What this should be at this point now is an alarm bell.
That we're still that this race is still considered close, and that it's not obviously going to be a landslide, it speaks so many volumes about where we are and the society we live in and the people that we share this piece of land with.
I would argue that it's actually going to be a landslide. And on the side, I honestly think that's why you're starting to see all of these Republican talking pieces putting out all of these poll numbers, because they know that by and large, the American public is watching Donald J. Trump and going, huh?
Right.
And if they're not going, huh? They're going, oh.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not on their social media about it. They're not just going to their, and they're not going to polls. And I would highly suggest everybody back up on the whole idea of what polls are at this point.
Right. They're not what they were 2 decades ago, or even a decade ago, honestly.
It's
the landscape changed in 2016.
Oh, why is that, Ben?
Because and this may not be the same answer that you're thinking, but for me, why that is that a large swath of people in this country who were otherwise asleep to politics. It was one of those things where if it doesn't affect me directly, I don't care. I've got other things to worry about. I've got kids to raise. I've got a job I got to go to. I don't have time for politics. Donald Trump's entrance and honestly, Hillary Clinton being so goddamn unlikable as an opponent of his, that, and such a stigma around the Clinton name, allowed Donald Trump entry into politics, and it invited tens of millions of people who don't genuinely understand how the government works, how politics works. They genuinely believe that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris basically have a magic wand because they're president and vice president, and that at the behest of them waving that wand, they can fix any problem that the country has. They just choose not to, as if that is how it works. And they're just so ignorant to politics and how what the three systems of the government, the checks and balances, and the executive and the legislative and the judicial, how that all works. They don't have any, and that's a product of our education system having obviously failed us as a majority, because it's a lot of people that don't fucking stand what it is they're getting into. And so here we are now. People are voting and they're not answering these polls like you're talking about. Back to loop it around to what your point was. These people aren't answering polls. They're just showing up at the polls because it's new. It's the new thing to own the libs by. If you are anti-woke, it doesn't matter what the policies are. You're voting for Donald Trump because it's a vote for against woke. It's against the Democrats. It's against the liberals. And so it doesn't matter. And that's all this is about owning the libs. That's what this all started about. It's all it's no longer communism versus capitalism, right? That was what the world battle that Jon Stewart pointed this out. And I think he's genius for it. That used to be what the world battle was about: capitalism versus communism. And that's really no longer a fight that is real at this point, right? It's not on the consciousness. It's now woke versus anti-woke. And that is spread across the entire world. We talk about Vladimir Putin. He's not communist. He's anti-woke. And so he's okay.
It's more than that, but yes.
You know what I mean? Rant over. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. And there's a lot to unpack there, because one of my main frustrations is the influx of voters who think they know what they're voting for. Folks, I was in junior high, and I'll be very honest with you. I was a George H.W. Bush fan. I grew up in a Reagan household. Okay, I've been paying attention to politics since junior high. That's no joke. You could talk to anybody that really knows me, and they'll be like, "Yeah, he's been dialed into this. He's been paying attention to this shit." Like when we were like, "Oh, it doesn't." And it frustrates me that you got a bunch of fucking newbies jumping in, thinking they know what's up.
Yep.
When it is a really complex web of association, of legislation, and they are biting on the lowest hanging fruit on the tree, when the rest of us are going, hey, wait a minute, take a second here. It's not about hate. It's not about division. It's about coming to a compromise. Hey, no, don't demonize these people coming from a different country, because they're doing jobs that the rest of you don't want to do in this country.
Right,
and your lifestyle depends on some of these people. And that's just one of the aspects of these things. Are you going to tell me that you out there, hypothetically, Ben, let's just say you're a pipe fitter, and and you marry you marry a hot chick, and all of a sudden you have a couple of kids because that's what you're supposed to do, and you're like, this guy's out for me. He wants to handle my family. He wants to take care of. He tells me he's going to protect women. And all the while, this particular person is a convicted felon. This particular person is a known sexual abuser. And you have a daughter.
Right.
How are you going to explain if the guy that you vote into office allows your daughter to be raped and forced to carry that child to term? How are you going to feel about that? Oh, wait a minute. You haven't thought about that?
Right.
Wait, you haven't considered that because you just immediately posted a picture of your big fucking orange god being falsely assassinated, and with the biggest fucking production of all time. And I'm sorry, I feel a certain way about the first assassination attempt to Donald Trump as the biggest work in history.
Interesting.
Because
I will have to dive into that one at a later date.
Don't, because it will dive whatever ratings and viewership we probably have.
But no,
you
you're
fell
absolutely
for
right.
that. You fell for the subsequent other ones where there were people that were 500 yards away and everybody's going, assassination. When do you not know you're the mark?
Right. I agree, because Adrienne could tell you, she's downstairs, and she would agree that I yell at the television a lot when I see, and I've had it up to here with middle-aged to senior citizen white people telling me, being in front of a camera and a news person with a microphone shoved in their face and being asked the question, why are you voting for Donald Trump? And their answer is, because I think I'm voting for him because he's looking out for me and my family. And I yell at the TV like, what policy? What policy? What anything? What about Donald Trump's entire life suggests to you that he gives a shit about the middle class family and the struggles that they have? The man has never been in a grocery store and shopped for himself in his entire life, surely.
Clearly never been at a McDonald's.
And you're going to tell me you're going to sit there on television in front of the whole world, and you're going to look like a fucking idiot by saying, I'm voting for Donald Trump because I think he can bring the people together. I think he's the best person to bring the people together. If I hear one more dumb white guy say that on in front of a television camera, I'm gonna fucking lose my shit. And these are the people we live amongst, Brooks. That's why I'm saying, like I said this last week, I've been thinking about it more and more over the last week. Like, dude, I don't know that I can handle. I might shut off social media. I might no longer do this. I might fucking shut it all down if Trump wins, dude. I don't know that I can handle living in an environment where I have to deal with those assholes having won and the fallout that comes with it. I don't know that I can
just that, Ben, and I know we've talked about it. And it's been on my mind too. At this point, and we're gonna cover it in this show, but I'll tease you with this, Ben. You and I are the enemy within that our former hopeful next president is, because we simply disagree vehemently. We support the opposition in his eyes. Ben, we're a threat. We're a threat.
Yeah,
here's the story. And if you don't want to, like, oh, you're being hyperbolic, oh, you're being dramatic, oh, that's not what he meant.
Oh, that's my favorite. Is that's not what he meant.
At what point do you sit there and not take somebody's seriously or at their word when they're telling you something? It's of course the dreaded CNN, but I could show you a video of the man.
Right? Yeah. In case you're wondering, here.
Well, go for it. Yep.
Welcome to Sapphire.
Fuck
so as
you.
that's going, former President Donald Trump suggested using the military to handle what he called the enemy from within on election day.
Harris is
Go for it. I think that's Katie. Yeah.
to describe some of his fellow Americans.
It's the enemy from within, all the scum that we have to deal with that hate our country. That's a bigger enemy than China and Russia.
The enemy within. Trump used the phrase again in an interview with Fox News yesterday when he was asked whether he expects chaos on Election Day from outside agitators.
I think the bigger problem is the enemy from within, not even the people that have come in and destroying our country. By the way, totally destroying our country. The towns, the villages, they're being inundated.
The villages?
But I don't think they're the problem in terms of election day. I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. It should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military.
All right, our panel is back.
What the fuck? So yeah, just in case you're thinking, oh, that's CNN. They can't be trusted. Did he say nope? That was him and his words, and we saw it and we heard him fucking say it.
At best, we're the friendly enemy within. But as somebody who's been to
dude, Mike Johnson. Did you see Mike Johnson try to fucking talk around those comments when they asked him? Oh,
I've seen a bunch of people try to dance around these fucking comments.
Oh, he was talking about the criminals coming over the border. No, he specifically named Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi as enemies from within.
So, like, you don't have...
Yes, Biz, anyone who goes against them would be arrested. That's what he's telling you. And that's what Project 2025 wants to fire everyone in the government, and you can only work for the government if you support the current president. That's the kind of infrastructure they want.
Even then, there's a lot of evidence and a lot of history to this type of political movement. It always ends up with a fascist state. Ben, on these airwaves, we're not trying to pat ourselves in the back in this situation, but like this is akin to what happened in the Weimar Republic in Germany shortly before Adolf Hitler rose to power. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, please, after this show's over, go and Wikipedia it. that might not be. And if you're going, that Wikipedia liberal, blah, 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 blah. Okay, then find some.
It's at least a starting point.
It's a starting point that will list references. And if you're really serious about your research and you want to know about the history of the world and how this is kind of playing out, the record is fucking skipping right now. Right? Go please check that out, because we are at a point where we have a political person who is acting like a messiah, and the people backing that person treat any type of criticism of their messiah as a death threat and are willing to use violence, January 6th, to accentuate their belief in their messiah.
Dude, John Kelly worked alongside Donald Trump, was his chief of staff, correct?
Yeah, sure.
And he just came out yesterday, and it was I don't know if it was released or he put it out there.
This was part of the Bob Woodward book, and the Woodward, and we it's a whole other show.
Straight, but he was there and was working alongside Donald Trump last time, and it says the guy has fascist tendencies. He views things from a dictatorship. Dictatorial? No.
Fascist. Basically, he would be a dictator.
He said a fascist. He's a fascist.
Which Trump
he gives
said
all the
himself.
Signs. Yeah, he gives all the signs of a fascist. You know, when I posted about this on my social media this week. He's also talked about using the military and National Guard to stomp out crime in the inner cities. Like, what? And then people are like, "Whoa, are you anti-crime? Like, are you pro-crime?" And it's like, dude, no, I'm I'm
pro-solution, bro.
Law enforcement. The U.S. military is not a law enforcement arm.
It's also not a solution to a socio-economic issue.
Right. If political protests get out of hand, you're going to send in the Army and the National Guard? No, because it's not breaking any federal laws. And also, so it's just about, because it's all about perspective there. It's only a protest if you disagree with the people that are there. You know what I mean? Like, it's only a bad thing if you don't agree with what they're protesting against. So you're allowed to deploy the military against those people because they are politically not in line with you, and that's what a fascist does. This is what a dictator does. This is the signs are all there. He's not even trying to hide it, which is what we're talking about. He's saying, believe him. He's a liar. So we know that he's a known liar. Lies about a lot of things.
How'd that Trump steak taste? How'd that degree from Trump University go?
He lies about so much that it allows him to also tell you the truth, and you to be not so sure whether or not he's actually believes what he's saying. But there honestly, are pieces you can tell the difference.
This is all because legitimately this all can trace back to the TV show on NBC called The Apprentice, which they literally created the fictional character that you think of when you hear the name Donald J. Trump.
Yeah.
That is before that, everybody he was a too hot to handle kind of topic, and at that point, I think a 3-time bankrupted businessman. There were 3 more subsequent bankruptcies.
He's probably most known for going on the Howard Stern show and talking about his sexual fucking weirdness,
prowess. Please, Stormy Daniels has debunked your penis size, sir. But we have to, as Ben, for the people that we're talking about, the people that we're angry with, that you never gave a shit about politics until somebody came up and was angry about the things that you're angry with, and you are rightfully angry about things.
Sure.
Right? As a middle class person, I'm angry that I pay way too much in taxes versus somebody who makes way more money than I do. Right? But it's the direction of this anger that matters.
Yeah.
Right? So you cannot tell me that somebody who is born into wealth beyond our imagination was absolutely gifted everything in life, including a diploma from the Wharton School of Business, has any idea of what your daily struggles are like and what it means to go in and punch in and out of an 11.5-hour day of work.
To go to a Woodman's grocery store.
And
Anything.
Pipe fit. And like, that's not even counting the commute. Right? That you give half your life to providing for the people that you love, the family that you've had and built. This man, and I'll be very clear, Donald J. Trump, his children, and his other sycophants have no idea what that struggle's like, but they're going to tell you that they do. While enacting policies that will absolutely crush your way of life. And I don't say that lightly. I don't. What we are at least trying to show here is that these people mean business. These people will alter the way we operate as a country. The things that you're used to are going to disappear. They're going to change.
And Elon Musk is going to have a big play in that.
Take Donald Trump at his word when he's going to deport 20 million people. And what that will do to our food chain. In the meantime, and we were on top of the story. I was on top of the story because I loved Twitter. And now I'm hanging on to it. I'm checking up on it like an ex-girlfriend. That's where we are with Twitter at this point, because it's become a cesspool. And here we are now with Elon Musk fully putting his support into the Donald J. Trump campaign, including possibly breaking the law by giving away $1 million a day if you just sign up for his little raffle. Folks, break it down. This is illegal according to many clauses in our law books that you can't buy votes. So
only voters in swing states are eligible. That's great.
A historic $1 million giveaway to swing state voters after the agency was warned by lawyers who claimed that the initiative may be illegal.
They don't care. Stealing away election.
Hey, again.
This is not election interference.
For those of us who have been paying attention for more than 4 to 8 years, this has never happened before. Not like this. And not from people who have also bought the world's biggest town space. And I mean X, I mean Twitter, whatever it is, whatever it is called. You have now this oligarch. Come at me, bro, if you feel differently about me calling Elon Musk an oligarch. Because that's what he is. He literally owns the world's biggest conversation piece. Bought it at a price, sunk that particular product to at least 2/3 of what it was worth, at least a third, maybe even a third of what it's worth.
He's a great businessman, just like his buddy Donald.
And now is going to ask for your vote. Businessman. Yes. Smart person? Name me a business that Elon Musk got involved with that did better than it did before.
He looks like look at him with that dumb fucking hat on.
Let's be very frank about who Elon Musk is. He is the child of billionaire emerald mine owners from South Africa who grew up in apartheid. And I know Ben, you and I trend towards a very younger demographic. But for those of us that are older and remember what apartheid is, it is a minority rule situation. And let's be frank, Elon Musk knows nothing of democracy. He is an immigrant to this country. And for him to be questing towards the presidency, but he can't be president because he wasn't born here, but he's basically buying votes, speaks to the problem we have with this particular candidate, because there are no controls behind this. There are no like, hey, we don't need Elon Musk doing political campaigns and offering $1 million a day to people who sign this. Peter Thiel making moves behind the scenes to push this particular candidate, and all the other Silicon Valley broligarchs that are out there literally behind this candidate, because frankly, they don't care about you.
And they have ulterior motives, which this next with Seth Abramson so well puts together in these pieces here.
So Seth is a bit of a controversial person, bombastic at times, but also has receipts. So if you're ever asking yourself, why is Elon Musk pushing so hard right now for Donald J. Trump, and literally setting up residence in Pennsylvania and campaigning across Pennsylvania? This is why. It's that top right picture, Ben. It's because if Kamala Harris wins, there are no protections for Elon Musk.
His businesses are
bleak.
completely propped up by government contracts.
It's bleak. Go to the next. There it is. These are all of the government agencies currently investigating Elon Musk's businesses. This is why Elon Musk is really desperate to have Donald J. Trump elected as president, because he'll probably wipe all of these investigations away. If it went the other way and Kamala Harris gets elected, Elon Musk has some reckoning.
Yep.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, he's there. Of course, there's ulterior motives. He didn't just suddenly switch because he thinks that Donald Trump is suddenly like
the best candidate.
The best candidate, has the greatest policies.
Most articulate candidate.
Yeah, like come on, like let's be honest.
They're shooting ketamine together back there. Like, don't tell me differently. And maybe not. Maybe because like Elon's like, I'm not doing the same drugs he's doing. And Donald Trump, well, you can't tell the Don what to do, because he's going to poop in his pants regardless of what you say. So, okay. All right. Broox, Ben, you guys are always talking about these these right-wing people, and you always talk about the conspiracies, and what about the people on our side who are trying to do the right thing and trying to lead a church and try to be godly people? Cool. Ben and I say, what about them?
Yeah.
Because right-wing Christian worship leader Zach Radcliffe was just charged with child sex crimes. In a newsletter today, actually released, 29-year-old graduate from Liberty University. Look that one up, folks. Liberty University. It's not necessary. Just look it up.
Yeah.
Not right now. Not right now.
Yeah.
Hang on, hang
wait.
on.
Yeah. Wait about 20 minutes or so.
A worship director at Oakwood Church in Michigan. A guy who performed an original music at the conservative political CPAC.
Yeah, this is him there.
A supporter of Donald J. Trump. In news today, might not be shocking, just got arrested for sexually abusing children. Zachary Joseph Radcliffe, 29, was arraigned today on 2 charges of aggravated child sexually abusive activity, 2 charges of sexually abusive activity, and 6 charges of using the internet to communicate with another to commit a crime. He faces up to 25 years in prison. You had me at the first child sexually abusive activity. When you can tell me this person's opinion about anything is trash and should be disregarded. However, there are going to be people who support this particular person, despite the fact that he has clearly abused, let me correct myself, sexually abused children. And he appeared at CPAC, which is like the pre-nominating convention prior to the whatever convention, Republican Democrat convention. Like, CPAC is important for conservatives and Republicans, and they let this guy not only step up on stage but give him a platform. Hey, he plays music. He also sexually abuses children.
This is the kind of human being he was.
During the pandemic, led church members in a maskless sing-along.
I want you to bring me stories of left-leaning Democratic voting, social liberal people, churches, organizations that have either allowed this or have had this happen within their ranks. Please. I'm willing, Ben and I are willing to accept the other side of the story. I just need proof. I need evidence. I will sniff out a story. If you give me a link, I will be happy to chase it down. But, I'm not the best. I'm pretty savvy on the internet. And I like to think we deliver a show here that talks about the both sides ism thing. Please, if you have stories of known registered Democrats, left-leaning people, don't give me stories about Bohemian Grove, and don't send me InfoWars links.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Give me something else, because if I sent you something like that, like demo.
They're going to throw at you. The one thing you'll probably
Everything's
get
fake
immediately
news,
is
Ben.
Epstein. You know, the Clintons and the Epstein.
Let's talk about it, but at the same time, let's talk about it. Now, let's talk about the names on the list. Anyway,
Yeah.
They
don't want to do that because Donald Trump's name shows up on that list.
Let's talk about World War III.
Yeah.
Because we're kind of walking into it right now, and we're passively acknowledging that this is going to happen. And not to circle back to the whole Ukraine thing, but it circles back to the whole Ukraine thing. Because that is going to be the crux of this. And we are already witnessing the recreation of the Axis powers. And I don't mean like Germany and Japan and Italy. Axis just means it's different. It's a different course from you, right? Mm-hmm. But at this point, we are literally looking at Russia. We're looking at Iran. We're looking at North Korea now, because apparently North Korea has sent not only military assets to Russia, but troops.
Yeah, I heard about that this morning.
Say, Ben, what does it say to you when you are in a unilateral country dispute? Let's just call it unilateral for the sake of the argument, right? And it's a Russia-Ukraine thing. And all of a sudden, you start to see troops from another country supporting Russia, and in Russia. How would you not think of that as an aggressive escalatory move?
Yeah, it's impossible not to.
So here we are, folks. North Korea sent troops into Russia. We know Iran is supplying drone technology. And rumor has it, all my folks on the internet tell me that if North Korea is not only supplying ammunition, shells, and now troops, including special forces, they are probably getting back nuclear technology, which has long been a goal of that particular regime. Does that sound plausible?
Sounds definitely plausible, yeah.
Oh, it's more plausible than some crazy, like, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Right? So,
yeah. The geese. Did you hear that? Did you hear that one? Where they were like,
there's a clip.
So do you now acknowledge that the dogs and cats thing didn't actually
Which is
happen?
what I heard, Ben. It's just what I heard.
But I've heard otherwise.
That's just what I heard. What about the geese?
The geese. They're gone. Like
the gooses.
Yeah, the geese that they were there when it was warm, and you mean as it gets colder, the geese like they leave?
I mean,
do you know what that means, Donald?
I think we're far enough into the show where I think we filtered out folks who might not be aligned with us particularly politically. When I tell you, if you're still supporting Donald Trump after all of this information put in front of you, all of this evidence, the man is either, take your pick, evil, senile, demented.
No.
I don't know what the fourth because all those other things
I just want to know if you're still going to vote for him. I want to understand why. I would.
It's going to make you feel good. It's going to make them feel good, like that. This is the guy who's coming out and being angry. So it is literally about the political movement of grievance, that you don't like the way things are going. And brother, I hear you.
Yeah.
But the idea of electing a fascist who's going to strip every chance of you changing anything you disagree with away is the worst thing that you can do. I'm not saying that Kamala Harris is the perfect candidate, or her continuing the Biden, Bush, Obama, Bush, Clinton, Reagan, all the way back to that. I'm not saying that that's the right way, and I'm not saying that serves us. It doesn't. It clearly hasn't. Things have not gone well ever since the Kennedys were assassinated. Let's be frank, right? Electing somebody who's clearly telling you that they're going to strip away all of that stuff and jail, if not worse, people who disagree with them, that is not the solution. Yeah. And again, folks, this is, at this point, yes, I'm going to shame you. This is why you're gullible. If you have just started to pay attention to politics in the last 4, 6, or 8 years, I'm sorry, but you're the mark.
Yeah.
You're the mark. You don't know what normal is. You don't know what the regular process, and you don't know our ethics. You don't know the again, like you were saying early in the show, but you don't know the function of those free forms of government.
You don't know what you don't know. Like you're ignorant in the truest sense of the word, in the actual dictionary definition of the word.
Ignorant is the word I'm hearing now. Is ignorant.
Okay.
It's a combination of arrogant and ignorant. You're ignorant.
I like that.
You are ignorant. You think you know what's going on, but you're ignorant. You're arrogant enough to think you know what's going on.
Yeah.
But you're ignorant enough to really not know what's going on, or to know what you're talking about, which is why our education system has failed us. Yes, we may have gone to a bit of island of segue. I want to bring it back, and I want to ask you, Ben, because the internet and social media is one of the great ways information can travel.
Mm-hmm.
And
TikTok is the number one way.
Norway has just increased the minimum age on the limit that social media people can access it to 15. So basically, you have to be 15 in order to get a TikTok or, well, let me read you the story. Norway is set to enforce a strict minimum age on social media of 15 as the government ramped up its campaign against tech companies, it says, are pitted against small children's brains, which is great. Actually, if my political people were saying something like that, I'd be like, yeah, that's awesome. The Norwegian Prime Minister, Jonas Gahr Støre, conceded it would be, quote, an uphill battle, but said politicians must intervene to protect children from the powers of the algorithms. Social media platforms, the labor leader said, were being misused by the industry and could make users single-minded and pacified. The Scandinavian country already has a minimum age of 13 in place. Despite this, more than half of 9-year-olds, 58% of 10-year-olds, and 72% of 11-year-olds are on social media. This is according to the Norwegian Media Authority, which is, can you hire me, please? The government has pledged to introduce more safeguards to prevent the children from getting around the age restrictions, including amending the Personal Data Act so social media users must be 15 years old to agree that the platform can handle their personal data, developing an age verification barrier for social media, which is awesome because there is the point of like legality, right? Is that they're forcing these social media companies to go, okay, they might be impressionable, they're youthful, but we also have to control what we present to them, because it is a personal data act. It has nothing to do with age restrictions, or like, we don't want you to show these people under the age of. No, it falls under the Personal Data Act, which basically covers, I'm sure, everybody of all ages, but specifically then protects these younger folks who don't know the difference. Again, media literacy in our time is dead. And this is a situation, I think, in a moment where we can kind of take a breath and go, okay, there are governments out there looking for the best of the children, Ben.
Yeah, brother, this is one that I don't think I'm on board. I'm on the same page with you on.
That's why I picked it.
And I cannot fully express why, but there's something about this that is unsettling, in that the government, like, I understand the need for government in some aspects of life. Children being on social media, I'm not so sure is one of those things that the government needs to be worrying about. Like, this is a parenting issue, not a government issue.
Okay, I love it.
To me, it's like, if I want, again, and I'm also from the point of view where I don't see the big deal about the whole personal data thing. I know you've told me, I understand that it's not as clean as I imagine it to be, but I also don't think it's as dangerous as everyone is making it out to be.
Sure.
I think it's a little too much. I think, yes, China does it. Yes, minds are impressionable, and limiting the content on there is one thing. Making sure that kids are getting good information and not fed misinformation, that is important. But this, I feel like, especially like age verification barriers for social media,
you're never gonna get.
That's a slippery slope, because
you're not gonna fix that either.
And
that's,
you know, you got to start. It just gets a little creepy that I have to. Where does it stop? Like, I have to age verify. I have to send ID in order to sign up for Facebook. Like, I mean,
that's like trying. That's like, okay. Did
did
your parents hide the porn enough that you didn't find it?
Yeah.
Right. Did you not go out to keggers in the cornfield? But
right.
that was not allowed. So it's the same thing.
Right.
What
I get the interest. It's coming from a good place, but I feel like this would be abused. Well, under the guise of, the children. Because how many good ideas under the guise of protecting the children have been abused to then widen the scope to include things that never were originally intended? And so that's where I understand, and I don't necessarily disagree with the idea that there needs to be some sort of guardrails or something, but it's really a parenting issue more than anything. Like, if you don't want your kids' data being shared, and you don't want an algorithm to send them things that they would be interested in, then don't let them be on social media.
Don't give them access.
Right. I mean, it's that simple.
It is, really.
I know it's not, and it's not that simple, because kids are really fucking annoying, and if they're the only kid at school that doesn't have social media, they're going to be relentlessly annoying every day to you, and you're going to be the worst parent ever because you don't allow it. But listen, if that's the fight that you want to fight that fight. For me, I'm not going to fight that fight. That's not a fight where I'm not dying on the personal data hill. No, I'm good.
A pet peeve of mine are people that complain all these kids these days, they're on social media. And while I'm at work, all I see are people going through their hallways like...
Right.
Like, you're literally walking down the middle of the hallway while I'm trying to push a patient cart through. And you're just like...
Yeah.
Like, so don't come at me with that. However, I'm not trying to say that the younger generation isn't... well, certainly. Like, they're going to be wiping their butts and taking their x-rays. So why not see how they decide to market to an older crowd? And this particular ad is about a casino. So here is Gen Z deciding how to market their casino with the owner being the star of the show.
Okay, besties, today we're going to vibe check this casino, manifesting big wins only. We have over 1,000 slot machines here. Slay. We're in our spooky era. Slay. This is the table game zone. Our face cards have undeniable riz. Pop off, queen. We're rolling now. Time to secure the bet. Bet. You see how I pick up the dice? Very demure, very mindful. Yeet. It's giving, Brad. It's giving. I want one of each. Let them cook. The drinks at Stage Bar are always on point. This month, the girly pops are drinking a pumpkin spice espresso martini. It's quite delicious, I fear. We've secured the bag. It definitely passed the vibe check. See you soon, besties.
Oops.
That's how I'm going to approach the kids these days.
Yes.
Hey, I've got the Riz.
Yeah, it's. He said a bunch of things that I don't understand.
I had to look up some of those words, not gonna lie. What I also took pleasure in looking up is the idea of let's introduce this ABC Chicago based
This is
news.
crazy.
That an exotic large cat native to parts of Africa and Asia has been found hiding under a resident's deck after being spotted wandering around an Illinois golf club in the suburbs of Chicago. The Hoffman Estates Police Department in Illinois said they were made aware over the last few days of a large cat in the area of Della Drive and the Hilldale Golf Course. And the cat was identified to be a caracal, which are characterized by their striking looks with long legs, a short tail, and a long, tough ear, and large canine teeth. After several days, authorities were able to locate and take the caracal into custody. The cat, this is a quote, the cat was hiding under a resident's deck and is unharmed. The Valley of the King's Sanctuary and Retreat, located in Sharon, Wisconsin, is en route to pick him up. And we are sure he will have a happy and healthy life far away from Hoffman Estates.
Wow. Like, again,
which is great.
Because obviously some asshole had him as a pet and then either accidentally let him loose or purposely.
Couldn't afford
the
his
food,
lifestyle.
Right. Yeah.
And it was like, oh, we'll let him out. So I was like, wow, a caracal. That is that's a thing.
Yes.
So I looked it up and, the next couple of links, I kind of did a bit of a dive into wild cats, Ben.
You probably know what a domestic cat sounds like, but do you know what a wild cat sounds like?
The fuck?
Whoa. Yeah. Fuck with that.
That says don't fuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
I will rip your entire fucking throat out.
Sames. Like, right? I'm a cat, but and of course, don't just let you know.
Crazy.
I'm comfortable right here lying down, but I will come and massacre you. So I was like, okay, they made the caracal really kind of cute right there.
Right. Kind of. A little bit.
Then I found this video of what a caracal really fucking sounds like.
Oh, God.
Also, how small the head is compared to the body. You'll see.
Yeah.
Why are you always angry?
Yeah, look at that.
Head.
It is very small compared to the body. That's wild.
It's a very angry cat.
Why would you have one as a pet?
Never. They want to kill you. Oh, it's cute, right?
Yeah, no.
Sure.
It's a wild fucking cat.
Until it goes.
Right, until it fucking hisses at you like it wants to rip your throat out.
Which I can't think of a better way to transition into my dad's favorite segment of the show. It's the lightning round, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, if you're new to the show, thanks for joining us. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch. Thanks for hanging out. Hey, hit that like button too, by the way. It kind of spreads the love around. And speaking of spreading the love around, this is the lightning round. And folks, it's the ultimate act of democracy. As if you're here and paying attention, you're in the world's most dangerous chat zone. We call it the Thunderdome. And like I was saying, speaking of democracy, we count your votes here. And your vote matters.
So just vote right in there.
All you have to do is throw up a number based on the stories I'm about to read to you. So headline number 1, without dilly or dally, thanks for all the lightning bolts in the Thunderdome. Headline number 1. Kentucky man declared brain dead, woke up during organ harvesting.
God. Oh, that's so awful.
Headline number 2. Bloody woman known for casting spells arrested by cops who found cooked human body parts in her home.
Oh.
And headline number 3. Portland parents discover inappropriate candy in Halloween bags.
Oh, this isn't like weed candy though, right?
I am not at liberty to disclose any
Nobody's
further details.
giving away weed candy to kids.
Nobody gives away.
It's expensive.
I'm not giving my drugs to your kids.
No.
Period.
All right.
End
Let's
of
hit them with one more time so they know what they're voting for. Although Biz already knows what he wants to vote
He
for.
knows what he wants to hear. We'll do this one more time. Headline number 1. Kentucky man declared brain dead. Woke up during organ harvesting.
So awful. God.
Headline number 2. Bloody woman known for casting spells arrested by cops who find cooked human body parts in her home. And headline number 3. Portland parents discover inappropriate candy in Halloween bags.
Remix, by the way, the Ryan Hansen remix. Hold on, where did it go? Sorry, number 1, Organ Don't-er. Which is good. Real Witch and Dongs or Treats. And this one is actually, this is one of the closer races we've had in a long time.
Bitsker, you're in and out, and I love you.
Yeah, the Australian guy showing up to vote. He, like most Americans these days, shows up to vote.
It's going to be a landslide, and that's
I hope
where.
so.
Anyway, we're looking for votes. We're trying to collect those votes.
Yeah. Maud Jordan coming to town this weekend. Looking forward to
Data
that.
from Brooks. Oh, really?
Yeah, she's coming down to beautiful Lubbock, Texas for the weekend to hang out.
All
Can't
right.
wait. Looking forward to that.
Fun.
Kids are excited.
Yeah. Who doesn't love when grandma comes around, right? All the rules are broken when grandma comes around. Like,
Indeed.
Grandma, can I have this?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yep. So, Chris, I think is the last one to vote, and I think puts us over the edge for story number 1. Hey, folks, you decided. You voted. It's 2 weeks away. After that, I can't promise that Ben and I are even going to be on the air after
To be
that.
perfectly honest with you, there is a 50-50 chance at this point.
Yeah, we could very well be ushered away into camps, and we're not making that up. We're not being hyperbolic. We are literally telling you what the Republican presidential candidate is telling us of he's going to lock up his enemies. So, with that said, no pressure. You voted for headline number 1, and that comes to us from The Guardian. Kentucky man declared brain dead, woke up during organ harvesting. A man who had gone into cardiac arrest and been declared brain dead woke up as surgeons in his home state of Kentucky were in the middle of harvesting his organs for donation. His family told media outlets, as reported Thursday by the national NPR and the Kentucky news station WKYT. The case of Anthony Thomas, T.J. Hoover II, is under investigation by state and federal government officials.
I would hope. Yeah.
Officials within the U.S. organ procurement system. That is a terrible thing to say out loud.
Yeah,
the U.S. organ procurement system insists there are safeguards in place to prevent such episodes, though his family told outlets their experience highlights a need for some reform.
Yeah, clearly.
Hoover's sister, Donna Rohrer, recounted how Hoover was taken to Baptist Health Hospital in Richmond, Kentucky on October 2021 because of a drug overdose. Doctors soon told Rohrer and her relatives that Hoover lacked any reflexes or brain activity and ultimately decided to remove him from life support, as WKYT noted. The staff at Baptist then reported that Rohrer and her family that Hoover had given permission for his organs to be donated in the event of his death. To honor his wishes, the hospital tested which of his organs would be viable for donation. That's typical. And actually, I've low-key x-rayed these, they call them gift of hope patients.
Gotcha.
Rohrer said she noticed Hoover's eyes open up and seemingly track his loved one's movements, according to WKYT. We were told it was just reflexes. It's just a normal thing, she told the outlet. Who are we to question the medical system, she said. About an hour after Hoover had been brought into surgery for his organs to be retrieved, a doctor came out and explained that Hoover wasn't ready. He woke up, Rohrer said. Rohrer recalled getting instructions to bring her brother home and make him comfortable, that he would likely not live much longer. As she said to WKYT, she had been caring for Hoover for the past 3 years, while he grapples with trouble walking, remembering, and talking. WKYT reported that Rohrer will only learn the full details of her brother's surgery at the hands of Baptist and the Kentucky organ donor affiliates in January. That's when a former employee of CODA contacted her before sending a letter to a congressional committee that in September held a hearing scrutinizing the organ procurement organization. The letter said Hoover began thrashing around on the operating table and started visibly crying, according to NPR. In response to the accounts relayed by Rohrer to WKYT and NPR Baptist Health said in a statement that the patient was safely its highest priority. Quote, we work closely with our patients and their families to ensure our patients' wishes for organ donation are followed.
I don't believe you.
Rohrer defended the decision by going public with Hoover's story, saying it would be worth sharing if she could give one family the courage to speak up, or if they could save one other life.
It's fucking crazy.
Truth of the story, folks. Don't give up on your loved ones, even if they start to thrash or bounce around.
That's weird. That's a weird way to end the show, but yes, I agree. Yeah.
Trust yourself. And if your loved one is alive, they're alive. If they're dead, they're zombies, and their organs are going to be harvested. Now, I don't know where that's going either. Like,
no.
What I do know where this is going is into the seas of infinity on the deck of the USS Rapapa. And as we enter into the kind of final weeks of this election season, we're just going to say that we wish you the best. We wish